Hello, today we are going to make a bechamel sauce. Woohoo, yeah, we're getting all fancy and stuff. This is a good follow-up kind of to the gravy making, but one thing I didn't do that I realized in the gravy video was talk about making roux. Roux is the foundation of all this. Roux is the beginning of your gravy. It's going to be the beginning of your bechamel sauce. It's the beginning of a lot of sauces. It's fat and flour. How thick you get it, how dark you cook it, and what you do with it next kind of changes it from roux to gravy to bechamel, on and on. But if you can master a basic roux, which is not hard, and I don't know what I just stuck my hand in, but ugh, greasy feeling. Yeah, I need to clean my stuff. It's not hard at all. It just takes a little bit of practice. So just get in there and play. Just flour and fat. I mean, you're not going to hurt anything or waste much of anything, and you'll be surprised how quickly you'll master it. But today, okay, let's back up, sorry. Our gravy video, we talked about fat, flour, and liquid. So the fat is or was lard, bacon grease, tallow. You could use butter and all that kind of stuff. For a bechamel, you want to start with butter. It's more of a dairy type sauce in the end. So I've got my handy dandy little butter dish here. And I'm gonna put about 3 tablespoons in my skillet. And I guess I need to turn this down so y'all can see. Eek. All right, here, let me turn the camera down. I know you don't wanna watch the top of my head. It'd be quite boring. Okay, so we get our skillet turned on. Now the one thing, when I made my gravy, I had a bigger skillet. I wanted more of the flour in contact with the bottom of the skillet, and I was making, 48 gallons of gravy like I tend to do. I don't know what my issue is with all that, but I wanted my flour to touch the bottom of my skillet to help in the browning process. With bechamel, you're not trying to brown your flour at all. As a matter of fact, you don't want it browned. You just want to cook it a little bit in your butter so that it's not gritty. But you don't want any color to it because a bechamel sauce is a white sauce. I mean, bechamel, it's just a French fancy word for white sauce. But so you're gonna get your butter melted. And if dairy is a problem for you, you can use ghee, you can use dairy-free. Earth Balance makes a great soy-free, dairy-free butter. I can't do much dairy at all. My little body just, well, it used to be a little body. Anyway, my body just doesn't handle it for some stinking reason. I love it so much. But I can do butter, so by golly, I'd do it. But what you're gonna do is your 3 tablespoons of butter. It's like the gravy, it's like a 1-to-1. And then you're gonna put in 3 tablespoons of flour. Again, I've got my brown rice flour. So we're gonna get this in here. Put it back in my little, nerdy ladled container. And it's really the same process. You're making a form of a roux. That's all you're doing. So we're gonna get this in here. You just wanna turn my heat down because I wanna cook my flour, but I don't wanna brown my flour. On the gravy, you'd have your heat turned up a little higher. You wanna cook it and brown it. I don't want my flour to brown. I just want my flour to cook some. All right, and at this point, I'm gonna add my salt and pepper, which I never seem to have handy when I need it. I'd, half teaspoon of each. As I've said a jillion times, you can add, but you ain't taking it out. So if you're not sure how much, go a little lighter than you think it might need, and then add after you taste it. All right, so I don't know what it is with me about pepper in sauces, but I just like a lot of pepper in my sauces, which is kind of bizarre because I don't like hot food at all. Oh, check out my Mr. P's tees. Love peas and chickens. I love this t-shirt. I love me some love peas and chickens. One day maybe I'll take you out back and show you our chickens. Okay. So you're doing the same process as with the gravy. You just don't want to brown it. So I would not recommend letting this sit like we did with the gravy to help it brown up because you don't want it to brown up. You want it to just go for, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes or so, just to make sure your flour's cooked. So I'm gonna pause so y'all don't stand here and watch me do this and listen to me babble, and we'll be back in just a second. Okay, we're back. So what I've got here now is a cup and a half of, I've got coconut milk. As much as real milk, real raw milk, if you can get your hands on it, or cream, oh my gosh, would be freaking amazing. I can't handle it. It just makes a mess out of me. So I use coconut milk, and you can turn the heat up now because all we're doing now is getting it good and incorporated and letting it thicken up. So basically, you have a bechamel sauce. This is it. Just let it cook and get a little thicker. One thing that you can do, let me turn this up, you know, just watching me stir like a goofball. This is such a versatile kind of base to have. You can add roasted garlic, you know, the roasted garlic that we do, add some roasted garlic in there. I mean, I'd probably put 3 or 4 tablespoons and make the nicest creamy garlic sauce. Add some Parmesan cheese. Oh my word, my mouth's watering, that's ridiculous. Some Parmesan cheese and you've got like a basic Alfredo with your garlic. Add some spinach. Whoo, that would be a creamy garlic spinach cheese sauce. Add any one of those things or all those things together. Caramelize some onions, your trilogy. Put it in a skillet with a little bit of oil, some lard or butter, and just let it cook low and slow for a while. Caramelizing right takes a little while. Dump that in there. It is so tasty. Goodness gracious. I mean, the things you can do, you can add cheddar cheese, make sure it's real raw cheddar, not that orange junk they sell at the grocery store, but all kinds of things. Pepper jack, I mean, oh gosh. Pour it over nachos, pour it over a baked potato, pour it over a gajillion different casseroles, steam some cauliflower or broccoli or both, pour it over that, pop that in the oven. You can do a jillion things with this. It's so good. And here's the best thing. Well, maybe not the best, but one of the really good things. This makes like right at 2 cups. It freezes beautifully. As you can see my ginormous, there it is back over there, refrigerator and freezer. I am a freezing machine. I love having, excuse me, stuff in the freezer and ready to go. I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit. It's getting thicker, and then I'll show y'all again when I finish babbling. But freezing this works amazingly well. At the restaurant, we'll make several batches at one time and freeze. That way, when I need them, I just pull it out of the freezer, let it thaw out, and use it. It's so easy and saves so much time. So what I just told you, you know, 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, a cup and a half of your milk cream of choice, half teaspoon salt and pepper, makes a roughly 2 cups. Do that 5 or 6 times in one, you know, not in 5 or 6 different things, but in one big pot. And then just portion it up and stick it in your freezer. We could do the let it cool down, stick it in Ziploc bags. Not my favorite way to do it, but it saves a lot of space in the freezer. And then anytime you need a quick bechamel sauce, just whip it out. Get home late, you're tired, oh my gosh, what are we gonna have for supper? It's like, hey, I've got some leftover chicken, some bechamel sauce, some spinach, throw that all in there together, maybe add a little Parmesan cheese, cook some pasta, toss it together, and you are the gourmet mama chef. See how easy that is? So it's just a matter of having things handy. So let me tilt the camera back down and I'll show you the thickness of this. And obviously, like I said in the gravy, the longer it cooks, the thicker it gets because the liquid evaporates out. So you don't want it to keep going too long because you don't want it globby. But ooh, this is nice. So let me turn this down. Ooh, maybe a little too far. Oh, I took it. Oh, well, forget it. I'll just do it this way. Can I do it this way? There we go. See? That texture is so nice. Now at this point, I would also get a teaspoon and taste it a little bit, make sure my salt was right. If my salt's right, oops, my camera's getting off. If my salt is right, then either use it or cool it and freeze it. If it's not right, add a little bit. But there you go. That's it. Whoop, I can't do this. Simple, easy, amazing bechamel sauce. So, hope you learned something. Have a good one.